A lot of reasons for those in attendance. This is the biggest scoring margin in Coach Pribble era, biggest rebound margin, plus 36 in at least the last 10 years, and the most three-pointers made by the team with 17 in Coach Pribble era. So, Coach, obviously a big win today. Tell us how you're feeling after that one.
Yeah, I think the word that comes to my mind is maturity. I think the guys are very mature today. After coming off a emotional, long road trip, we had this game, a game that we were obviously supposed to win, and I think the guys did a great job with their preparation and then their execution of the game plan. We have an older team, we have an experienced team. They understand that every time we walk on the court is an opportunity to get better. And I'm just really proud of the performance. The starters kicking it off with a 15-0 run, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes in these games it's a little bit slower, it's a little bit back and forth, and that doesn't allow teams to get the most they can out of it. So for us, the starters taking care of business right away allowed guys like Aidan and Ewan Steele and Miles Clapper to come in and prove what they're capable of doing. We have a very deep team. Aidan's a great example of that, and I think our bench played really well tonight, shared the basketball, and got better. So proud of the guys, good performance. Excited for the future.
Questions for Coach or Aidan?
I can go first. What do you hope to improve going into Cal Poly?
Yeah, well, that Cal Poly Bakersfield road trip is a really good opportunity for us to prepare for a Big Sky road trip, right? Cal Poly is a really good team, Bakersfield's a really good team, and traveling to those places is tough. And so, we need to be consistent and defend for 40 minutes. I think tonight we took strides in that direction. We defended more consistently. But if you're going to go on the road and prepare to beat a team like Cal Poly, you better be ready to defend. And so I think our ball screen coverage just got better tonight. I think we protected the rim pretty well, and then obviously we rebounded the ball at a very high clip, and those things will all be very important for Cal Poly.
After this big win, what can you guys take away from this game as a whole?
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is depth. We have a lot of guys in the locker room. Aidan is, again, a perfect example. A lot of guys in the locker room who are just preparing and waiting for their name to be called. And everybody in our locker room knows that the minute Aidan steps on the court, we're going to get better. And the same things happen with Ewan Steele. And again, Miles Clapper's kind of showing it throughout his opportunities. And so this is just an opportunity to prove it. We know it in the locker room, but now when you get, Ewan Steele to play 28 minutes, Aidan was able to play 21 minutes, Miles playing 24 minutes. These guys had extended time, and they performed really well, really consistently on both ends of the court. And so, I think the big lesson for us is about our depth, and just about the championship standard that we're trying to set within the program, right? It's not about the highs and the lows and the highlights. It's can we be an everyday team? Can we hold ourselves to high standards every single day? And I think they did that.
Yeah. Aidan, undoubtedly your biggest performance that you've gotten here. I mean, a very impressive stat line. What take us through how you're feeling after that one? What was this week of preparation like for you? And how are you feeling after a performance like that?
Obviously feels good. Always good to get a win. Always good to see the ball go through the hoop a couple times. But I think really I kind of just knew, came off a long road trip. We had a game where focus on us, focused on getting better, and I knew that I needed to be prepared whenever my name was called, whether that was going to be 5, 10, or 21 minutes. So just had to be ready, and especially for those guys who played heavy minutes on that road trip, I knew that I wanted to be able to perform, so take a little load off with those guys too, especially going into this next road trip we got going on.
More questions?
Yeah, I've got one for Coach. I mean, kind of touch more on that the bench play, and then for you, Aidan, as someone that is a key member of that bench, can kind of speak about how you guys as a bench have kind of evolved from the first game until now.
Yeah, so from my standpoint, our bench is very, very good and very, very experienced. And I've talked about it, and it's kind of like, all teams kind of say it to some degree, but it's different for our team. Like, a lot of times, guys in Aidan's role are guys who maybe are younger and haven't had as much experience. Like, you should read this guy's resume, right? What he's done at the NAI level, he's an extremely experienced, tough basketball player. Ewan's been putting in work every day in practice. Miles Clapper in his third year. I mean, Isaiah Brickner coming off the bench and being a extremely experienced player. So our depth, our bench is a strength of this team, and that's just an opportunity to kind of prove that tonight. And again, knock on wood, you hope you stay healthy all the way through. Obviously, we've already had Christian Gonzalez go down, and then preseason, Titus Yearout, Tyler Linhart, different guys have gone down. and other people have just been able to step up. So we know if we do have some sicknesses or some foul trouble or whatever it might be, we've got guys, waiting, preparing, and ready to come in and perform. That's what they did tonight.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off what Coach was saying, I think for us as a bench unit, I think just staying on each other, just to be confident day in and day out. We got a really, really good team. We got a lot of good players, but there's only so much minutes to go around. So, being a bench guy, being a guy who is more of in a support role, just always being ready and always being in each other's ear that, like, we're all great basketball players. We're all here for a reason, and when our number is called, we're gonna do what we know how to do. So, yeah.
This is going to be a question for both of you, but this is one of the last times we're going to get to hear from you after a game until a Big Sky Conference game has been played. So, we got 2 more games left in the non-con slate. So, Coach, we'll start with you. By and large, how are you feeling about the non-con slate? How do you think that's gone? What have you seen from your guys? What do you want to build on going forward?
Yeah, I think it's been good. I think our guys have taken advantage of the opportunities that they've had, and I think we've continued to get better. There's obviously a lot of areas we need to continue to improve, but if you kind of go pretty much game by game, we call them areas of improvement, right? We call it GBT tape, get better tape. Every day we go to the film, we try to get better, and our guys have done a good job with that. They've found those areas of improvement, and they've really dialed in on that part of the process. So I think the preseason's been successful from that standpoint. We've gotten better, but look, Big Sky Conference play, the parity in our conference is incredible, and so every game is going to just come down to a couple possessions here or there. So we're going to have to get a lot better. This last week of the preseason is going to be an important one for us if we're going to defend home court against Eastern to open up conference.
And then Aidan, same question to you. Looking at it from a player's perspective, this is wrapping up your first preseason here. How does it look? How do you
Games, and frankly, we should have won all those games. And yes, we did lose, and that's a loss on our record. But I think the lessons that we took from all those games are important for our future, important for the bigger goals that we have going on into conference, going on into playoffs, and just this long season that we have going on. But yeah.
More questions for Coach Aidan?
And the coach, for you guys, have actually had, say, a challenging non-conference, but you guys have gone obviously to South Bend, and you guys have been in very tough environments. Kind of speak about what you think you guys have really learned about the non-conference, and then how important will that be going forward as we get into the Big Sky play?
Yeah, look, our strength of schedule has actually been really tough. And there's been a little bit of buzz, like, we played these 3 non-Division I teams. Well, every team in our conference, other than one team, plays 3 non-Division I games. Some play 4 non-Division I games. So we've played 3 of them, which are all opportunities for us to get better. And then all our Division I opponents have been, just the strength of schedule. If you look at the numbers, the analytics, it's a very, very challenging non-conference. So being able to win some games on the road at South Dakota State or, Washington State or, even some of the games like Northridge, very good team. They've won 20 games the last 2 years. They're beating up on people. So our strength of schedule has been what we wanted it to be, which was a challenge and an opportunity for us to prove ourselves and test ourselves and see where we need to get better. And I think that's been good. These next 2 games are going to be no different. Cal Poly is an elite 3-point shooting team, 5 skilled guys on the court at all times, and Bakersfield's a really tough team to play at their place. Blue court's kind of got the Boise State vibe going on. It's a unique place to play, and it's hard. So good challenges for us to keep getting better.
Yeah. Any more questions?
All right. Thank you
Thank you
guys.
guys.
Go Vandals.
Thank you.